Pharma is one of the best examples of teamwork. What teamwork you are talking about if the team members are not interpersonally gelling well?
Of course.
So interpersonal comes first, and interpersonal is the glue for a team to perform. You discover what is the need,
Right.
and deliver on the need. If your participants know that if I learn this piece, it will help me to earn more incentives because I'll do much better business,
Right.
or my customers will listen to me when I talk about it, they'll definitely commit to learning. If the issue is pertaining to a great extent and negatively impacting the business, do a physical program.
Training, yeah.
Through various interesting activities, my participants come to know. Because this is a program you cannot do with geographically dispersed persons. You have to do this program with closely functioning people.
So hello everyone, welcome to Pharma Now. On today's episode, we have a training head for FDC Limited. The FDC Limited, I think the brand you may not aware, but you may recognize it by the name of Electral. Yeah, everyone drinks it. So we have a training head of FDC Limited, Mr. Rajesh Bhattacharjee. Welcome Rajesh on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for giving your time. I know you always keep running here and there, but thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me here.
Wonderful. So, Rajesh, in this episode, I certainly wanted to explore the various trends which are happening in trainings and L&D models in pharma. And I heard you have vast experience right from the sales. I think you spend your initial years in sales and then moved to training, and today you are a global trainer. You are certified by US trainers, you are certified by Australia trainer, and you are doing really wonderful job. But before that, I really wanted to go back and I wanted to put some light on your journey of career. How you started your career and how you become a training head for a company like FDC.
Well, thank you so much for your nice words. It means a lot because everybody intends to become more learned as their journey progresses. So I kept on learning. I have never stopped learning. Now coming back to the start, it was 1997 when I finished my B.Pharmacy from Bangalore University. There was a conflict at that point of time to get into production in the manufacturing sector, being a pharmacy graduate, or to come into sales and marketing. So I thought I was more influenced by my seniors who went into sales and marketing, where they used to always say that, Rajesh, if you go into sales and marketing, the promotions are very faster, you can earn a lot of money, which I could never earn, of course. I mean, that's a different story. But then, in general, people believe that there is a lot of money in sales and marketing and faster promotion. So I think I got hooked to that. Incidentally, I got into 3 companies at a time.
Okay.
I got 3 jobs at a time. So I asked my father what to do. My father says, Akkar bakkar Bombay wo karo aur jo aaye. So what happened, I got into a very good company called Intas in Bangalore. I also went into field training. I roamed around Bangalore, being a pillion rider on a manager's back. And he was the first person to let me see how the promotional calls happen in the doctor's clinic. But unfortunately, within 1 week, I dropped my idea of joining Intas and I opted to join Win Medicare, Betadine company, right? So why? Because I got posted at Mysore and the living cost of Mysore was much less in comparison to Bangalore. So I thought the package which I got will suit me to shift to Mysore rather than staying in Bangalore. So I left Intas, I went to Win Medicare, the third company that offered me a headquarter at Hyderabad. I never wanted to go because I studied at Bangalore I was very familiar with the Kannadiga culture there, so I opted to remain.
Actually, that
back.
was my question because I think you belong to Tripura, right?
I belong to Tripura. Yes.
For a Tripura person, a North Indian, going to the Mysore and doing a sales,
Right.
I was a bit surprised. Now you clarified that.
My regional manager, my first regional manager, my first area managers, they're my Facebook friends, mentors. They, whenever they get a chance, they will write that Rajesh picked up Kannadiga within 6 months. So
Oh.
I picked up Kannadiga. Nange Kannad baritte. I can speak Kannada and I can understand fully because that was the need.
Right.
A Bengali chap going to Mysore. Mysore is a little conservative space, place, in comparison to Bangalore. Bangalore is cosmopolitan. Nobody will ask you whether you know Kannadiga or not. But in Mysore, it's a traditional place to connect with the doctors and stockists and chemists. I had to learn.
Correct.
Not that everybody picked up, but I picked it up because I have a flair for learning languages. And I think it helped me a great way towards the advanced stages of my career. I'll come to that, but as I'm continuing telling you the journey. So, because I'm from Agartala, Tripura, I requested my organization, Win Medicare, to transfer me to Northeast. During that time, my father was not doing well. He had some health issues. So they were kind enough to transfer me back to Northeast, where a time came when I became a part of Glenmark as a team leader. And I spent a good amount of time in Glenmark as a team leader, leading a team of about more than 10 people across Northeast, all the 7 states of Northeast. I had a ball over there. I learned a lot of things, the basics of managing people, the art of converting customers. And I remember that during that time, our Glenmark's division that I used to head was not even in the picture of Varji. Varji never used to track the sales there. So that pinched me a lot. When I used to come to the cycle meetings, they used to show a lot of data of all India, but Northeast is missing. So we decided that we will do business in such a way that Varji is forced to capture our sales. So our team, and this is history now, that for the first time, from my second year of being the team leader there, our team's performance got recorded by Varji, and in the next cycle meetings, we could see even Northeast data. So that's a big thing, which motivates me even today. So when I was with Glenmark, I got married. I was blessed with my son. My son was only 3 months old, and I got a call from Mumbai. Now, shifting all the way from Guwahati to Mumbai with a 3 months old cesarean baby, that was a big task. And my wife also was working at that point of time as a QC personnel in Revlon. You know that cosmetic company?
Yeah.
But it is her greatness that she agreed to give up that job. She was on maternity leave and she didn't continue. She said, okay, Rajesh, we are shifting to Mumbai. Because there I got a call from Piramal to be their zonal training manager. And training always attracted me.
Okay.
I used to be mesmerized by looking at my trainers as med rep and as area manager, and later on as a regional manager. So I have opted to come to Mumbai. This is how I landed in Mumbai. Mumbai, I was a zonal training manager in Abbott.
Okay.
Piramal later on became Abbott, as you know. And then I got an offer from Lupin to become their national training manager. Now, that was the time. I'm very excited to tell you that when I joined, there was a bigger objective of hiring few trainers from outside. They dismantled their existing training team and they reformed the entire training team because they wanted to, the organization wanted to shift from transactional selling to scientific selling. And I think me and 2 of my other colleagues, all of us, we joined from Abbott. together we went into Abbott, and in the next 3-4 years of hard work and the cooperation from the field people there, we could convert the image of the company in such a way that later on, you must be knowing that Lupin became one of the choicest partners by MNCs to co-market research brands. An organization which was basically known for transactional business got that reputation. The MNCs have got that confidence on the organization that if I give my research molecule to an Indian company, they will do justice. Today there are plenty of such molecules which are on co-marketing.
Yeah, right.
Right, between Lupin and Eli Lilly, Lupin and Boehringer. So in that journey, it was beneficial for me because I got exposure how Boehringer works, how Eli Lilly works. So that multinational exposure, particularly when you talk about compliance in pharma industry, in the sales and marketing, and also in the production sector, compliance is a big matter. It's a very important thing that we adhere to. So this is how the journey went in Lupin. I spent about 10 years there. I have superannuated from there. And then I got an invitation from FDC to lead their global L&D team. And this is now the 6th year for me in FDC. In FDC, I take care of the training for salespeople, training for our research scientists, in our formulation R&D, in our API R&D, in our analytical departments, when you talk about the research part of it. When you talk about the corporate part of it, I take care of the behavioral and leadership skills of our corporate staff. I means me and my team, of course.
Yeah.
My team also takes care of the international training needs of international sales teams. They are located at various places like, say, European countries, African countries, then your this Arabian countries, Asian countries. So we are widely existing in many countries. So worldwide, that responsibility of training them is also on us. And of course, the plant training.
Okay.
You see, if you look at the plant training, what I'm talking about, many pharmaceutical companies have not paid much attention to train the people in the units, in the manufacturing units, but is spending a lot in sales training. So we thought, why not train that talent pool? That's a huge talent pool.
Very true.
So this job profile also attracted me, that not only sales training but a global training of the entire universe of a pharma world will be my responsibility. So that inspired me to join FDC as a global training head.
Amazing. I think your journey is really inspiring. So I think this starts. I think the immediate question comes in my mind, like training. When you're talking about how you guys plan training, because from the perspective of attendees or maybe a student, I will say, we always wonder how training heads plan training. What are your strategies? How it constitutes?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's very important for the training professionals, L&D professionals, to clearly understand the steps of designing various programs. See, some programs are traditionally there. For example, say medical representative joining you, you have to train him on the basics of your products.
Correct.
We call it PST, product specifics training.
Okay.
Without knowing this, you cannot consult with your customers.
Right.
So these are the basic trainings. For example, if our representative is promoted to the level of area manager, we call these programs as selling to managing. So it's a mandatory program. A representative, all the days he was selling, now to manage the sales through managing people.
Okay.
So that's a basic training. So these are certain basic trainings. We keep on tweaking the topics a little bit here and there. But by and large, these are the pre-decided training interventions which are already there. But when you are approached by business leaders, when you are approached by functional heads of other non-sales departments, or maybe you are approached as an L&D head by other business heads of various business verticals, we call them the division heads. So be it sales related or non-sales related training, when they approach us, okay, see Mr. Bhattacharjee, we have to do some programs. So that is a start. Now, as an L&D head, what we do is we understand what they expect out of the training. What is the end objective they are trying to achieve through the training.
Right.
And that has to be very clearly understood. First thing first. If I fail to understand the purpose of doing a training, my training will probably fail. Or it will get and land up into some other airports which is not my destination airport. Right. So before you take off, before you get into designing your training content, before you decide on training design, before you decide on training methodologies, and before you select the medium of training, whether it is going to be physical training or online training or virtual instructor-led training or this plain vanilla e-learning sort of approach. So before you decide onto all these, you have to set the purpose for the training. And once the purpose is clear in your mind, I sit down with my colleagues and we also jot down the objectives of the training. So that the people who are going to deliver the program, they are also very much aligned with the purpose. So for an example, say purpose, we want to be a 2,000 crore company, purpose. Objectives, we have to make this division a 500 crore, that brand 50 crore, right? We have to retain people, we have to reduce attritions, we have to increase our in-clinic selling time. So this could be, your stepping stones towards achieving that bigger purpose. So these are the objectives. So once that purpose and objectives are set, then we jump into content creation and designing the program. Whether it will be delivered through lecturing method or role plays will be there, or say video case studies will be there, or say debate and gaming and all these things. So design,
how to make it more engaging.
Yes. So we call it the program design. That comes later part. And before designing the program, we also think about the which media you are going to use it, because if it is an online program, the design will be different, right? If it is a physical program, your agenda will look like something else, which is not going to match with your online programs. Your online programs are people are on their liberty, anytime, anywhere use.
So I think that was my leading question, ki, which is more effective, online, offline?
That's $1 million question. The whole world is divided into two poles. I call them, the physicalists, obsessed with physical training. You take them to any corner, and when they open up, and if you could really hear to their soul, any day they will vouch for physical trainings. They will say nothing like face-to-face training.
But it's always good to visit Lonavala, having a couple of days spent there.
That's a different thing altogether. So people are hooked and obsessed with physical trainings. And then you have another class of people who are hooked with digital training. But I think, the hybrid way is the best way to go ahead.
Okay.
Because you have to have a mix of physical training, physical interactions, interpersonal relationship you can build during physical presence of each other. And then when you look at the cost of training, you can minimize it in a great way when you transform some of your training stuff into digital form. And that digital content, when floated into internet, you call it e-learning. So that's a very cost-effective way of reaching to larger audience. Anytime, anywhere you can catch them. So coming back to your question, I will not go with a particular style of training, whether it is physical or online, which is best. But definitely I'll go with the hybrid model. And hybrid model is also not applicable for every kind of training.
True.
So you have to decide. See, in my lingo, in my own lingo, which I have started using in my own company, I love to divide my trainings into 3 classes.
Okay.
Classification. These are the broader classification of training interventions.
Okay.
So when I am very clear about the purpose and the objective of a program, I categorize it as PAC, P-A-C.
Okay.
P stands for the class which talks about prospective training.
Okay.
It's a futuristic training. Currently, I have not trained them on this. Currently, I have not touched on those competencies. I'll be teaching them, training them on these competencies for the first time, so that in future they perform well.
Okay.
Or in future they become job ready at least.
Right.
So these are those mandatory skills or competencies they must have to play a role in this current designation. Prospective training. When it comes to prospective training, I'm sure you must have already guessed it, that it should be delivered to physical method.
Certainly.
These are basic things.
Yep.
The second category is A, PAC, no? A stands for augmentative training.
Okay.
You already have it. I have given you long back. You need a refresher. So I want to augment your knowledge or skill on that. Or maybe I want to add on a particular skill on which I have not trained you before.
Right.
So this augmentative skills can be given to you through VILT, virtually,
Yeah.
through online,
Yeah.
through a combination of virtual and online. I do a virtual with you and I assign few courses to you online.
Right.
Okay, fine, you do this.
Correct.
So basically our international business teams are trained through virtual mode.
Okay.
And then we follow up through online trainings. PSC, C stands for curative training, curative interventions.
Okay.
That means an issue occurred. People keep running to me, Mr. Bhattacharjee, there is a big problem with data integrity, or there is a big problem with, say, OOS, we call this out of specifications, or these are not practically happening. I'm just giving you, it's not meaning that in FDC it is frequently happening, but it might happen in any company for that matter. Or say there is a GMP issue, good manufacturing practice issue. So, or say this brand is not doing well. So those 3 things were for plants. Coming to sales, they say that this brand is expected to do much better, but this brand is not doing well.
Or some competition comes in and they introduce something. Now you require a counter.
Exactly. So when there is an existing problem and you are doing a program to overcome that problem, for that matter, say HO people are not gelling together, department heads, there is a conflict, and therefore business is badly impacted.
Right.
So whenever there is a business issue, and if you attend that in your training intervention, I call it as a curative intervention.
Interesting.
Now, there are 2 parts of it. If the issue is pertaining to a great extent and negatively impacting the business, do a physical program.
Training, yeah.
Or if the people are senior people, from the mid management to senior level, you do it virtual.
Nice.
If the people are new, novice, making mistakes, they know, but they are not. They know the skills, but they are not applying those skills.
Very interesting perspective. Model also. I like the model. I have written it down.
This is my copyright. You can publish it, of course. But anyway, I'm just joking. So this is how. See, I'll tell you one more thing. Very interesting. See, this this physical training, online training, virtual training, anytime, anywhere training, AI coaching, AI ML, these are buzzwords. And we have to respect it. We have to change with the change which is happening in the digital sphere.
Right.
At the same time, as an L&D professional, we have less confusion in our mind about which program to be delivered through which media.
Right.
But our stakeholders are at times very loud on, how do they approach? Yeah, Mr. Rajesh, you take them to Lonavala. I want an outbound training. Now, without understanding what is the purpose of the training, I can't say, yes, we'll go to Lonavala. And reaching Lonavala, then I am asking, what is your purpose? Doesn't make any sense, right? They'll say, do an online program. Or no, don't do an online program. Bring them, teach them in the classroom. So it is very loudly, there in the heads of our stakeholders when they come approach for programs. They will also suggest the medium of training. And from there, whether you succumb in front of them, surrender and say, yes, sir, or you say, okay, fine, you leave it on me. You tell me the purpose of the program, and I have this formula now.
Yeah.
So in front of him only, I'll say, this is this kind of a program, and in this kind of programs, this methodology
So it's like, give us
works.
a problem statement, let me design the solution and get back to you.
Exactly. So it helps me to convince my stakeholders as well, okay, which method of training.
I really love the model. And we will talk more about I think this model maybe in some other podcast or something.
Sure.
But I really like your pack model. Yeah. So I think in this model also you were one bit detour question. I typically found like whenever HR trainings comes in, right? If you go to the social media, you will find a lot of memes around it. Yeah. So because people may not feel that okay, these are becoming very monotonous, or it's a HR KRA, so I just need to go and attend it, or it's like some kind of pointers they get for training, so that's where they are attending the training. And the objective of the training may not be the learning, right? In many of the cases, like this is a trend which I observed on social media. I wanted to understand how you tackle this kind of challenges.
See, when you talk about setting the purpose and the objectives, we have to keep business in mind. We have to keep the need of the people in mind. And therefore, after your stakeholders have approached you and suggested a particular training, other than those basic trainings that I've talked about, which are sacrosanct, you have to conduct such trainings.
Yeah.
In addition to those trainings, if they are suggesting something, once they clarify on their expectations and the purpose is set, we do a TNA, training need analysis.
Okay.
We float a questionnaire through digital media to the target audience, whom we are going to train. I'm doing it in FDC very diligently, and we are very particular. Without any TNA done, we do no programs.
Wow. Nice.
So a questionnaire goes to the reporting boss, a questionnaire goes to the big business leaders involved in that particular business or in that particular plant, and questionnaire goes to the participants, would-be participants. So at 3 level, we try to discover that what is that they want to learn from this training.
Wow, nice.
So once we are sure about it, because the data speaks. One such recent study I can tell you as an example. We have interviewed a group of about 500 people working at a grassroots level in the plants and in the sales, both the departments. And out of 3-4 questions, one question was that when you choose to join a company, what among these following parameters attract you the most? CTC, company reputation, the amount of big brands which you will be dealing with, your learning and development, and like that, we wrote about 10 such parameters,
right,
including money as salary package.
Right.
And our anticipation was most of the people will take salary. I think you also have guessed it like that, right?
Yeah, I was having a couple of options in mind, but I think culture should be also one of the options.
Culture was there as an option.
Okay.
But what do you think they would have ticked?
From employer point of view, yes, salary.
Money?
Yeah.
It was to our surprise. And those kind of surveys are masked surveys. They do not know from which department it is coming, or Rajesh Bhattacharjee is sending, or whoever is sending.
Correct.
It goes as a masked.
Yeah,
We don't even ask for their name. Question starts directly from question, not from the name, headquarter, department, nothing.
Right.
Anonymous studies.
Survey.
76% of the respondents have clicked learning and development is our priority number one.
I think that's amazing.
That's amazing. When I presented it to my board of directors, even they were amazed.
Wow.
So that once again reinforces and motivates us, we like people who are in L&D function.
Amazing.
We make a mistake by leveling our Gen Z as they want to quickly achieve a lot of things and they do not want to put in hard work. That's absolutely wrong concept.
I agree.
Even the millennials, they are wrongly labeled as, little lazy guys and they want to achieve a lot of things, have to have a lot of money without not doing much. It's absolutely wrong things. Their aspirations you have to just discover. They're highly ambitious people. The new generation, I'm talking about Gen Y as well as Gen Z. And this this study that I have done is mostly with Gen Y and Gen Z.
Yeah.
Learning and development, they want to learn. And then came money. Second was the package and all, and then the culture of the company, third. So I gave you the example of how we get into the deeper understanding which my participants carry in their mind. So beforehand, before they come to my classroom or before I intervene through VILT, virtual instructor led trainings, I know them. So as you have very nicely questioned that they come, they become disengaged, they party in the night, in the next day morning they come with swollen eyes, red eyes. No, that doesn't happen in my training because I train them on what they want. So what I mean to say, I'm not bragging about myself. The way forward should be that you discover what is the need and deliver on the need. If your participants know that, if I learn this piece, it will help me to earn more incentives because I'll do much better business. Or my customers will listen to me when I talk about it. They'll definitely commit to learning.
True. Wonderful. I think you are also one of the well-known person in, or rather expert in interpersonal relationship. Like you are known for the doing trainings in interpersonal relationship. I really wanted to understand. I think this is one of the very important aspect in any organization. Interdepartment relations, interpersonal relations. What are your philosophies around it?
Well, so a very nice question. You see, we talk a lot about teamwork. What teamwork you are talking about if the team members are not interpersonally gelling well?
Of course.
So interpersonal comes first. And interpersonal is the glue for a team to perform better and achieve higher goals. So I think whether it is within a sales team or between various functions, interpersonal relationship plays a massive role in deciding the efficiency of the teams and in deciding how productive is the team. I give this example to other industries as well because frequently I go to various business schools as a guest speaker. That pharma is one of the best examples of teamwork. Manufacturing, R&D is producing the product.
Correct.
Distribution, sending it to your headquarters. Distribution channel partners making the product visible and available. You are creating demand as med reps or line managers. chemist selling it. Look at the teamwork. I mean, for any business, it is visibly existing. But for pharma, when you talk about research, I'm sure you know that there are various kinds of research and development. One is called as formulation research.
Yeah.
Formulation research is you have the existing molecule, you make tablets, capsules, syrup, suspension, injectable form. Nobody is going to give you the formula. You have not discovered the molecule, but you have to identify which way I will make the tablet or the capsule.
Correct.
And all the parameters, it should meet the standards,
Right.
dissolution time, bioavailability, and all these blah 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 things. So that is formulation R&D.
Right.
When you talk about API R&D, that's a different ball game. You are producing molecules in bulk.
Correct.
For example, say company A wants to launch, say, empagliflozin. Either they can source it from the mother company.
Yep.
That will be very costly.
Yep.
Now their formula, their API R&D, active pharmaceutical ingredient R&D, is working on how we can synthesize the molecule.
Correct.
And then they capture markets internationally as well domestically. And in between them, there is a department called as ARDL, Analytical and Research and Developmental things they do. Whether you are API or you are formulation, they will do the analysis of the drugs which you are making.
Correct.
If your steps of reactions are flawed, it will be identified by ARDL, and they will say, no, this is not a stable way.
Correct.
Now look at the interdependency of the departments.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then if they say, yeah, everything is fine, then you have another team which is called as technology transfer team. They will transfer this technology in a minuscule, batch, in a small batch to the plant. They will go to the plant and teach your plant people that my R&D has discovered this reaction,
Right.
and this is how the
It is
product should be produced, formulation should be produced. So technology transfer team. And technology transfer team is collaborating with the production managers there.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of interdependency.
Absolutely.
Now, you tell me, if these people are not gelling well, who is the loser?
Yeah, the organization and everyone is a loser. Right?
Organization is the biggest loser.
Yeah.
Organization will fail to launch new brands.
Absolutely.
Organization will fail to capture new markets internationally. Right? Organization will fail to file new applications to the US market and European markets, which is our biggest market. Right? Revenue wise, because the revenue comes in dollars. So, interpersonal becomes the glue, or it is a building block
Right.
of any organization to perform better. So, in this regard, I found FIRO-B, the fundamentals of interpersonal relationship development in business setting. I have done this certification from Myers-Briggs, Australia, and this is helping me in making my people understand that if I and you, we both want to make our relationship work better, or if I and my wife, we both want to make our relationship better, we have to understand our expectations and priorities. For example, say I am a very public sort of person. I want to brag around, I want to talk about myself, I want to go onto the stage and give a lecture, I want to sing, I want to dance with people. I'm kind of an extrovert. On the contrary, so I'll go to that part later. So what are my expectations? That people will invite me, people will give me stages, people will create those opportunities so that I can publicly be loud.
Right.
These are my interpersonal needs to make interpersonal relationship with those people who invite me. I like them. On the contrary, if my wife is not so public, she's a private person. She doesn't like all this. I cannot push her there. Rather, she may not like me getting on the stage frequently.
Correct.
So she may criticize my, at the drop of the hat, getting on the stage, she may not like. She may tell me, "Kya Rajesh, tum bar," right? So this is her requirement, that she wants privacy. I am a public sort of a person. Our needs to develop that relationship is different. So through various interesting activities, my participants come to know, because this is a program you cannot do with geographically dispersed persons. You have to do this program with closely functioning people. So I do this program with our HO people, I do this program with our R&D people, our plant people who are under one roof, every day interacting 1,000 times. So I do this program, and then they realize, oh, that is the reason, because he wants something from me, I am giving something else. I want you to be very public, but you are a private person. I'm breaking this relationship, because internally you will not like my approach. I am a very intimate kind of a person. I want to hide my feelings. I do not want to share about my family with you. But you are sharing a lot about your family incidences with. I may not like it. Kya yaar? You are bringing your home things at office. I don't like it. I may not tell you, but I may not like you. Now, at the root level only, we are failing to gel. How can we become good team members? So, interpersonal plays a big role in conflict management, in productive relationship building, and in making teams high-achieving teams.
Very interesting. I think, Rajesh, I feel that we should keep talking and keep exploring these areas. But I think because of the limit of the time, I think we should wrap up. But before closing our discussion.
But before you close, I want to just mention one thing.
Please.
Yeah, see, when you talk about pharma training and development, pharma training should go beyond sales training. It should go to the plants, it should get into corporate training, it should get into R&D, as I said. You take it as an universe. Pharma universe and train, number one. Secondly, pharma training does not mean that you will only train your people on product knowledge. Product knowledge has become a way of training in pharma, which is not the future. You have to invest in leadership development, you have to invest in managerial skill development.
I feel like because the way Indian manufacturing is growing, GMP practices, FDA compliances, regulatory affairs, I think pharma requires training in all these aspects.
Absolutely.
I feel that.
Absolutely. You are bang on, and your plant people are deprived of such training interventions. Please look at your plant people. We respect our plant people a lot. I have a different team altogether, which takes care of the training of my plant people.
Wonderful. Actually, that was my question. I really wanted to have that message for the L&D leaders. What should be the next trend that they should cover, or rather in coming years? I think you really answered it in that way. We have to focus other than sales. We have to also focus on other skill sets, other areas of training. Amazing.
See, there what happens is in plants, I'm not saying that training doesn't happen. Training happens, but there is no designated training manager. Your boss will train you. Or a QC or QA, particularly when you talk about pharmaceutical units training, it is usually done by QA, quality assurance guys. So he's not a trained trainer.
Exactly.
You have to have dedicated
It's
trainers.
a science. Training is altogether a science. Right now it is like just like how you train your team. But one needs to learn the science, and I think you're doing really wonderful in that area. I really love the pack model, and I think it's very interesting.
Thank you so much.
Explore it
and
more.
Just to tell you, last year we got the best diverse training team of the year award.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing. Rajesh, wonderful. Thanks a lot for sharing all this stuff with us. I'm sure we should do another podcast where we will explore one-on-one stuff more detail. But really, thanks a lot for sharing all this. Welcome, and thank you for joining us on the Pharma Now.
Most welcome.